Languages through music. Languages through music. Languages through music. Languages through music. Greetings all, and welcome to the Languages Through Music podcast, the podcast where I, Desta Haile, interview amazing musicians and educators from all around the world, and I ask them about their languages, the music they love, and how music has helped them learn languages, memory, culture, travels, and all of that good stuff. So today I have the most special guest, Mr. JP Bimeni. Welcome, JP.
Oh, wow. Thank you for this warm welcome and a warm introduction. I'm grateful.
I'm very, very glad to finally get you on this podcast.
Yeah, it's been a long coming.
Long time coming. And JP is an amazing musician from Burundi. He also kindly put together the Kirundi Through Music ebook and playlist that's sitting in our Languages Through Music Masterclass. And he's an all-round good guy who speaks Swahili, Kirundi, English, French, and little bits of quite a few more. So we are going to ask you a few questions today, Mr. Bimeni Mana. Starting with, what is your earliest music memory?
My earliest music memory, I think for music, for me, I love dancing. Mm-hmm. I love dancing, absolutely. And then coming into music for me start from the dancing. Mm-hmm. And even if when they say, Bob Marley says, when the music is good, it hits you good, you dance, something like that. So everything for me, my earliest dancing, I remember that I love dancing, that people gather around if the music is going to just see me dancing or to be encouraged to dance. Go, the music is here, come on, dance for us, Mm-hmm. Which even later in high school, I was the main choreographer for college. Mm-hmm. And I would do all these concerts or performances and touring all the high schools, colleges. So I'll be in so many various groups of art, which means I was acting, I was choreographer, I was doing poetry, and I'll be in the sports, the tournaments like basketball and ping pong, all kinds. So I've been that sort of group going from one college in the whole country in Burundi to another, do competition. So I'll be doing the physical, the artistic, and I think that's where it all started. And music is the beginning.
Okay. Do you have one artist you remember from an early age, or a song? For me, my earliest vivid memory was Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. Seeing that music video.
Yeah. I mean, our sort of, because Burundi, as we say between bracket, I put it between bracket, was in a place where, in terms of being connected to the rest of the world, in terms of media and all that stuff, at my generation, was not that extensive in terms of education and what's out there. Mm-hmm. And then basically most of our TV or TV set we had is one channel. And we'll start from 6 o'clock. We're not running every day, or run all hours. We'll always start in the evening at 6 o'clock until midnight, and it will shut. And some days will not work. Mm-hmm. So, but there was a program on every Saturday at 6 o'clock. That was the music program.
Okay.
And everybody knows, if you're born and lived in Burundi, in Bujumbura especially, and you've been in a neighborhood where they had TV sets, because not all Bujumbura had TV sets. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a TV set initially. I had to go to my neighbors, and I had to make friends with the house helper to let me go through the gates, to go and go in the corridors. So the master don't see me that there's a stranger in the corridor watching the TV from a corner. Or sometimes we will just get someone in the house. Can you just pull your curtain so I can watch from outside? Mm-hmm. And they all kind of story about that. So the Saturday event, the music event at 6 o'clock. And I remember the time, this when we had a TV set home. It wasn't even in color, it was in black and white. And I remember 6 o'clock, it hits the time. And I used to tell my mother, you can tell me anything you want before 6 o'clock. Do all errands by 6 o'clock. do not disturb me. And I would just... So that TV program was called Au-delà du son, which means beyond sound. And on that TV program, 6 o'clock Saturday, if I think about it now, I know more about music. I'm more educated about music, touring and meeting all kinds of genre music and history of music. I look at it now, I said, my God, it was so pop. So pop that...
Top of the pops.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it a French show?
Pop. It was English, French, every language. Because we listen to Nana Mouskouri's, to...
Okay, wow. Greek.
All the way to American pop, to European pop, to German, all of it. Some African, South African, anything that was pop and popping everywhere in the world, we saw it. So I remember like Elton John. I remember the song called Nikita. Yeah. Oh, Nikita, you never know. All those things. Francis Cabrel, the French. There you go. The Francis Cabrel music, or there was even some obscure, I can't even remember their names. But the songs are just huge.
Yeah.
So straight away, this song that hits me is Elton John, Nikita, and Boy George.
And did you
George
speak
Michael.
English at that point or no?
No, I didn't. So we made it up.
Yeah,
that was it.
Amazing. So the ebook is all your favorite songs in Kirundi, basically. Yeah. So maybe we'll come to that a bit later. Do you have any favorite things about Kirundi? Any favorite words, phrases, elements about Kirundi you'd like to share?
They say you never appreciate where you got until you leave it behind or you lose it. So I've been outside my country or left Burundi at the age of 16 somehow. So now it's almost close to 30 years coming. And I remember initially when I started really making music, I was in the UK. And I did it mostly in English because I already lost a little touch of home, couldn't go back home. So, and I loved the idea of going to perform. So English was very much in my head. So I was writing that. And I remember I started getting questions. So why don't you write in Kirundi? Then I was like, this is even a European asking me, why don't you write in your language? And it was quite a question mark in myself. I was like, exactly, why don't I write in my own language? But deep inside, I thought nobody will love to hear me singing in Kirundi because they don't understand it. Secondly, I thought nobody would encourage to be interested to whatever, And I remember returning home and showing them my English songs, but being interviewed in my language, and everybody on the radio calling in and go like, how can we believe it's you? You sing so well, know that, and you speak very well Kirundi. You don't sing in our language. That's a sacrilege. And for a Burundian to be called not real, it is the most insult you can get when you're such a proud... We are very proud people. Very proud. And I took me as like a spear through my heart. What? So I remember I had a half song and I finished it. It was in Kirundi. And first song I've written in Kirundi because of that sort of attack. And it's perfectly, and it became a classic now in Burundi. It's called Agahengwe. Agahengwe. Purest pure rest, peace you can experience. And when anybody knows Burundi, has gone through all kinds of historic upheavals and peace being, heart-rich and stuff like that, like a lasting peace that's translating prosperity, because we're very rich people, I have to say. We are not poor, I started discovering the beauty in my language a lot more.
Later on.
Yeah. Because I now spoke other languages and I saw how intricacies of other languages. And I start looking in terms of my language when I start writing in Kirundi, really taking my time and trying to speak more than the simple words that are in there. Because songs can use very simple words, but how you just juxtapose them, it can go so deep, to very emotional, to very intellectual, to even spiritual and beyond. And then I discovered how beautiful our language is. So even my brothers, my family say, you left home so long. How do you speak? Could you just title a song Agahengo? We don't speak like that. We don't use that word. So it's so, in French they say, mot recherché, very high language. We don't speak like that anymore. How did you find that word? And you don't even live here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was the best compliment.
To impress the brothers.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a bit about your experience learning languages at school?
Yeah.
I assume it was French first. And then Swahili you learned outside.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know how, if at all, music helped you with that. I know you were enjoying lots of music without understanding the lyrics.
Yeah.
But later on, did you ever kind of consciously make that connection, or?
I think that's the power of music in terms of languages and stuff, because it's in the hearing sense. When you speak, you hear it. When people speak to you, you hear it. So music is hearing. And I think it really subliminally start proposing to you and informing you how things are structured and sound or executed or, carried out.
Yeah.
And that, because the hearing is where it starts. So music is very powerful. And, theater, films and all that. But music, because music also somehow it's very short, and when you're making a song, you're trying to express as much as possible what you want and get to the point, in a very 3-4 minute, a whole idea, the whole universe, and, it can be very extensive to, so I think music played a lot. My interest in terms of French first was the first language to learn, because you learn it from primary school. So you hear music. I remember a lot of French songs, and I used to have a little notepad, and I would just write all the songs, and I would sing it to, I remember even my brother said, "Shut it," and then I remember also doing the mime, performing them songs like a mime.
Lip syncing.
Because I'll be doing the choreography and lip syncing and all that, And it'll be also, if the romantic songs, will be the way to,
Okay, next question. So, I know you used to write a lot of poetry, and I always assumed that it was in Kirundi, but then you said no, it's in French. So I'd like to know for you, kind of, with your 4 languages, which language do you prefer for which situation? For example, the other day I was telling you about my cousin who when she's really angry, she cusses in Greek, right? When she has road rage, she cusses in Greek. Yeah. She just switches into Greek for her, like, anger language.
Yeah.
So yeah, for you, maybe it's French for poetry, Kirundi for family, English for speeches. I don't know if there's any way that you kind of feel more comfortable in a language for different purposes.
I don't know. It depends who I am with. I realize, when I'm with my people, Burundians, there's nothing more satisfying. I speak in my language, and I feel home. I feel like, because of our history, I feel like we need to get back to ourselves. And I kind of, like, straight away, my heart, my thinking, my spirit, everything goes back to selecting the words, the beautiful words that help to communicate. And whoever I meet, really, and depending where they are, because I have that flexibility, I go where the needs.
Yeah.
And but if I'm with, it's rare that I have someone who speaks Kirundi and Swahili and French and English all together. I have a very few of those people. That's like the basketball team of my friends. I think that's where we connect.
Yeah.
Because I can switch from this one and they get it. And space of jokes or anecdotes or speaking in sort of code way, we just pick it up so fast.
Yeah.
Without even explaining much.
Or kind of half in Kirundi, half in Swahili.
Half Swahili and Swahili, or even a term that for other languages have nothing to do with it, but it's just said in there, they'll quickly get it. You know. So in terms of my combination of languages, it's not many people who have that share.
It's okay. Just give me like 6 months to a year.
Yeah, I know.
J'arrive.
You are kung fuing your way through it. I'm like, hello.
So you travel a whole lot for your music, especially in Spain and Italy. Your band is in Spain. You did 14 days in a row at Umbria Jazz Festival last year. How has it been for you kind of picking up languages on the road?
I mean, for me, because this whole thing of touring music and stuff has not been helpful for me to learn languages or somehow. But it has helped me to see cultures, how they speak, how they behold, because I know when I was at college, first time I arrived here, I tried to learn Italian, tried to learn Spanish, tried to learn German, and use my kind of way of learning it, but it never went that far.
Yeah.
And so now traveling, because suddenly traveling is happening, I can see those languages in their home turfs.
Their context.
Context and stuff like that. And I know, I'm like, but I was kind of back foot because touring is so brand new to me. You know, it was quite brand to me to know the routine that's helpful for you to do that. But I've been telling people, because when you tour, you don't really get enough time to go into this. But for me, what it has done, I've kind of noted down as like, basically the touring has given me a tool. So next time I'm ready to go and learn and find out more about things, I know where to go. You know, it's like that was a quick visit. It's like, if I want to go next time to really go in depth something, I know where to go. Like Spanish, I have plenty. Spanish would be quicker. And Italian, German also in a way. But in the order of things, I think it's Spanish, Italian. And if I have those two, I now have Portuguese. Because I saw my musicians, they're Spanish. I can see the whole Latin connection thing, Latin languages.
They can understand Portuguese.
Yeah, oh good. So easy. See, so easy, yeah.
So that's interesting because people often think, oh, you know, you have to be able to travel to learn a language, or, oh, you know, you have to be a musician in order for music to be a useful tool to learn a language. But in fact, you know, you've been traveling to these places and you said it hasn't necessarily helped you learn. I know lots of musicians who don't speak another language. So it's kind of neither here nor there. For you, you know, do you think that musicians have an advantage in learning another language at all, or not necessarily? Yeah,
because learning music, as I say, it's a language. So which means you are equipping yourself in terms of a setup or an approach or identifying how to get things quickly into your system. I remember, for instance, when I came to UK trying to learn English, because I've learned French, I started realizing actually, there are pathways to English from French. Because all the good verbs in French, they're very highly sophisticated verbs for English. You know, I just have to learn how to pronounce
change your
letters. The letters how they're pronounced in English.
Yeah.
So I don't do all the SATs or, you know, English proficiency exams for whatever, you know, multiple choice and stuff. And people will say, how do you know that? I'm like, well, I speak French. And it was so a highway straight in. But what was challenging is about phrase construction. The way you do French construction in terms of phrase is totally different than English. English is so efficient. It's short, small, but in French, you can write a sentence. It becomes a whole paragraph. You're still speaking to make a point. And that's very exhausting. Sorry, French people. So, because I remember how I used to be admiring French humor and stuff when I started discovering English. And I can see, but I get to admire the quirks in each languages and its psyche in each languages, understanding people deeply inside, and it's a whole wealth. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's a privilege. Yeah.
I agree. Is there music that you don't understand at all, language-wise, but you just love?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Greek. Classic music.
Okay.
There are old music, traditional music. It's so full of emotions. It's so you can hear it in the voice. You know, the elongation in the expression in the voices, and how they hit notes, you know, and the vibration and stuff. I'm like, I remember being introduced to it was in university. I found myself crying. I'm like, I ain't got no clue of one thing, but I feel like this person is hurting.
I remember one of my best friends from high school, Evie. She taught me the little bits of Greek that I know. And there was one song she translated for me that I never forgot. And it started, something, panikos, titanikos. And all I remember is that the lyric meant, this isn't love, this is panic. It's a small Titanic.
It's the beauty of languages. When you translate them, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it was just the timing of it. I just never forgot that song. It's been like 20 years. Yeah. But yeah, it's not love, it's panic. It's a small Titanic. I just thought that's a lyric.
But it's also very rhythmic, like tak, 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 you know, proper. Yeah.
So Greek and
Greek and the other music that killed me. I speak Swahili, but the Swahili levels are different. The Swahili of Burundi, the Swahili of Rwanda, the Swahili of Kenya, the Swahili of Tanzania, the Swahili of Congo. You know, everyone mixing with their thing. But the purest Swahili is Tanzania. My God.
Beautiful.
I call it melted butter.
Melted butter Swahili.
Oh my God. Tanzanians.
Okay.
And I would love to live in Tanzania to learn to that level.
Let's make it happen.
Oh my God. Yes, we shall. We shall. We got people, we got places. It's all there.
Let's go.
Because Tanzania it's just incredible. It's a land of...
So many people say that about Tanzanian Swahili. I can't wait until I speak Swahili so I can understand what people mean. Because everybody says that.
Their music from way back to now. I was following that lady who died, the legend of Tanzania music, Zanzibar.
Taarab music?
Yes. There's an old lady who just passed away a few years ago. She's a legend. And I found one of her classic music, her best song or whatever. I listened to Spotify and went to the YouTube and start looking at the comments. That music, of course, it's interesting, the east coast of Africa, because it's been a border where so many people coming from cultures, east go to west, like from the north trying to didn't have a root, you know. So there's so many cultures there and tiny things. So even the music is in there. So their music, even the old classic music of Tanzania, you could hear people from India saying like, I feel this music. People from Arabia, I feel this music. People from all far Asia, I feel this music. All the way to China, all that. It's like, my God, what's this music? It's in Africa, you know? And they're interesting. So interesting. An incredible energy there. So, yeah, hence why I feel like I gotta experience more of this place. Yeah.
And I know there's one language that you've missed out.
Another language
that you love listening to.
Of course, Congolese Lingala. Lingala has been my fascination because living in Burundi, I have my cousins, I have my uncles, and aunties. They can speak it, and Congo is literally. I go on the lake in the city of Burundi, and I can see Congo across the road. Yeah, it's like half an hour. I'm on the border and I'm in there in Congo, and which is a crime, sacrilege that I haven't visited. I have Congolese friends all the way to Kinshasa and all that, and I have families in my family who are Congolese, you know, and it's ridiculous. I need to
fix that.
Big time. And Congolese is so rich. So Burundi is stuck between two giants. that melts me. Congo and Tanzania.
Well, it has been a pleasure talking to you as always.
Yeah, likewise.
So, last question.
Yep.
Could you let any listener listening out there today know where they can connect with your music, where your next gigs are?
Wow. Okay. JP Bimeni, but the thing is I have two artist names. I have Mudibu, Mudibu.
Your original OG Kirundi
childhood nickname from the neighborhood. So I made some music under that name, 2 albums, something. And now with this soul music to create a new artist name, which is JP Bimeni, which is like kind of cut through of my official name.
You've lived many lives.
Hopefully, and more to come. So 2 albums there. So both names you can find music on all platforms, social media and all that.
And where's your next gig?
Next gig, I think I'm going to France. 2, 6 and 9th. I have 2 festivals in France. Then August. And 17, I'm in Spain. And I think the other thing that's scheduled is also in London. On the 9th of November, I'm playing Camden, called The Forge.
Okay.
And I think there's more dates later until November.
Amazing. So, Well, Murakoze cyane.
Murakoze cyane kuba mwagize umutumire wawe.
Languages to music.